Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Bearded Banter podcast. I'm your host, Shane the Bearded One, and as you can see, we are finally back from our winter hiatus. It is a new year, a new decade, and with that brings the annual Game of the Year Awards, where we talk about our 10 favorite games from the previous year. As you can see, I am joined by my co-hosts Spencer and Josh. How are you doing today, my boys?
I'm doing very, very good. Got some woken up. Time to talk about some video game.
Also, this is Spencer's first podcast with his new mic. So
yes,
welcome to the Good Mic Gang.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
God, I feel you in my ear. Stop it.
I'm sorry. I can now get directly into your audio wave.
It's so weird. It's so weird hearing you with good audio. It feels unnatural.
It's almost like talking to me.
In a tin can.
Yeah. He finally found his way out of the fishbowl and into real world.
And yes, hello, I am the second.
And hi,
co-host.
Josh is also here. How are you doing today, my son?
Don't play RuneScape, people.
Yeah, actually listen.
Please.
He plays RuneScape, so actually listen to him. Don't do it.
Please don't do it. I've wasted so many hours clicking on one thing.
Speaking of wasting so many hours, here we are. Returning to Bearded Banter in the new year. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you all had a great holiday. And we're here to talk about our favorite games of 2019. So this is our top 10 games of the year podcast. We each have our own individual top 10. Gesundheit. Very much so.
Thanks.
We each have our own top 10 list of our 10 favorite games from the past year that we're going to talk about.
I'm allergic to how awesome the games are.
Yeah, they're so great, right? Just get some fucking Claritin so that you don't die from all the great video games. And we can get started. But a few things before we actually get into the discussion. We're going to do this by rotation. We're going to start with Josh. He's going to talk about his number 10. And then Spencer will talk about his 10. I'll talk about my 10. And then we'll rotate through that until we're all through our lists. I decided to streamline this a little bit for myself, at least. I wrote down a few short little blurbs about each of my entries, so I kind of pseudo-scripted this podcast, just so that my discussion isn't as rambly as it usually is. It's more focused to save time. So I'm going to be reading from my script, air quotes. These guys are just going to talk about whatever the fuck they want. And as such, I also took the liberty to record some gameplay for each of my entries, so once I talk about them, I'll switch to some gameplay. You'll see it up on your screen. I couldn't for these guys' entries because I didn't know all of their picks, and also I didn't have access to all the games to record footage. But if any of our entries overlap, I'll be sure to throw up some gameplay for you guys while you're talking about your shit. With that said, I think we can get right into this. So let's start our top 10 games of the year of 2019. Let's start with Josh. Josh, what is your number 10?
My number 10 game of the year is actually a bit of a meme game when it came out. It's an old 8-bit shooter done by the people who did my favorite game series. It's Neptunia Shooter.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
It was a fun game. It's basically a 8-bit side-scroller shooter, like the good old days in the 80s.
Yep.
But with Neptunia characters. It was fun. It made me mad, but it gave me a challenge.
All right, short, sweet, and to the point with Josh for his number 10. Spencer, what is your pick for your number 10?
My number 10 pick is Metro Exodus. 4A games and published by Deep Silver. Based on the book series by Dmitry Glukovsky, this series takes you into a post-apocalyptic Russia, where the only solace is found in the underground metro tunnels. Food is scarce, bullets have become currency, and who knows what monsters are to be seen on the surface. This is the third game and continues the unique vision that Dmitry created back in 2002. The game is dark and dreary and uses the claustrophobia of metro tunnel to create a tense and nervous atmosphere. Simple things like your light going out or running out of ammo becomes the massive disadvantage. Not only can you not see, but you also cannot buy more ammo. You cannot upgrade your gun. You are completely vulnerable to all of the nuclear foes that you will face. The game does all of that perfectly and continues to polish the series that I have grown to love and appreciate.
Oh, I see Spencer kind of pseudo-scripted his list, too.
Mm-hmm.
That was very clean. Very, very well said.
Up until the fifth one.
That's
I ran out of time.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. So my
At least
pick.
you wrote a script.
Well, anyway, my pick for my number 10 on my top 10 games of 2019 is Blazing Chrome. Now, I am a big fan of Contra. I'm sure all of you are. Contra is one of those old school franchises that everyone dabbles in growing up. It's a legendary series that helped create the side-scrolling shooter on console. But over the years, Konami has been less than kind, so to speak, to this once beloved series. And with its most recent entry in Contra Rogue Core, it's pretty clear that they don't exactly hold it in high regard. In comes Blazing Chrome, a fast, frantic, action-packed love letter to the classic Contra games that does everything you would want a modern Contra game to do, and more. It has fast-paced, shoot-'em-up gameplay, a chunky pixel aesthetic, a... mind the pun. Blazing soundtrack. Sorry. That's sure to get the blood pumping, and of course, big, bombastic boss fights. Now, what surprised me about Blazing Chrome the most is just how much variety there really is. Sure, you're always shooting a plethora of dudes, robots, and different kinds of monsters, but it breaks up the monotony by throwing several different weapons and power-ups at the player, as well as changing up the level gimmicks, like having chase sequences or vehicle sections, with things like a motorcycle or a jetpack. The jetpack, by the way, is the best level in the game, hands down. Tons of fun. With full co-op support and a ton of unlockable characters and modes after the main story is done, this game has a surprising amount of content to keep players coming back. This game wears its influence loud and proud, and it is all the better for it, as Blazing Chrome might as well just be a real Contra game at this point, because it takes everything that made those titles classics while doing it so much better. For these reasons and more, it made my number 10 on my top 10 games of 2019.
Nice.
Alrighty. Let's move right on. Thank you. To our number 9 picks. Josh, what is your number 9?
My number 9 pick for Game of the Year really shouldn't be in 2019 because the first game came out in 2001, but it is a remastered. My number 9 pick is the Ace Attorney trilogy.
Good pick, honestly. They did redo the entire game from scratch, so...
If you are a fan of light novel, visual novel style games where story and puzzle solving is a big key, you will love the Ace Attorney series. First came out in 2001. They've been making games all the way up till 2016. Gotten 2 anime seasons, both I honestly loved, and the story is just awesome. It takes place with your great, wonderful Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright, and his wonderful assistant, Maya Fey, who go through multiple troubles and trials of tribulation to solve and prove who's guilty and not guilty. Just a great game in general, and one of Capcom's best series, and I really hope they do make a new game in 2020 for Phoenix Wright. There's been rumors that they're planning on a new main line, but hopefully it is true.
I'd be surprised if they didn't, especially with how well that trilogy sold.
I would be very pleased if they did.
Good pick. Well said. Spencer, what is your number 9? I can't fucking believe this. He set up a bit. Where's the bit alarm?
Honk, and another honk for you all. This is a short and charming game about being the world's most dickish animal, the goose. With the minimalistic music that crescendos as you play more, and simple controls, this game is a challenge in and of itself to complete without a smile on your face. The way that the duck moves and reacts to the world around him is full of charm and unique animation. The game is not very long, but the slow piano that is added as the game goes on, and the long list of interactables and challenges makes this a definite favorite of the year.
All right, good pick. Good pick.
Dude, shout out to House for making the most graphically underwhelming, but one of the most fun gameplay games of the year.
I actually enjoy the style of Goose.
Yeah, the minimalist art style is actually very good. But you're right. It is gameplay over art design, because that game is incredibly fun. It just barely missed making my list. But good pick. Good pick. And my pick for number 9 is Afterparty. Now, I never thought that a game about beating Satan in a drinking contest to escape hell would be as deep and emotionally devastating as it really is, but here we are. From the creators of Oxenfree, Afterparty is as pure an adventure game as you can get. Its gameplay is pretty bare bones. Walk left, walk right, talk to people, that's about it. However, what makes an adventure game good is its characters and writing, and Afterparty has that in spades. Following 2 college graduates, Milo and Lola, as they find themselves dead in hell, Afterparty tackles some very serious subject matter. The entire cast is miserable to some degree, and the party-centric, neon-soaked dive bar culture of hell forces them to adopt drinking as a coping mechanism, even if some of them know that it won't really solve anything. Alcoholism is a very risky topic to portray in media, but Afterparty does it with surprising nuance, while also injecting its dialogue with very dry and witty humor. It can go from downright hilarious, side-splittingly funny, to emotionally impactful with ease, and it's this mixing of tones coupled with the sheer quality of its writing that makes Afterparty one of the best story-driven games of the entire year. These themes of alcoholism can be seen in its gameplay as well, as players can order from a variety of different drinks that open new dialogue options. And I love how it portrays this because, in real life, people get different kinds of drunk and say different things depending on what they drink. And Afterparty captures this beautifully, leading to, honestly, some of the funniest dialogue I've seen in a game in quite some time. If you're a fan of funny adventure games full of existential dread and thought-provoking commentary on drinking culture, Afterparty is the game for you. For these reasons and more, Afterparty made number 9 on my list. Alrighty. Let's move right on to number 8. Josh, what is your pick for number 8?
First, very well said.
Thank you.
Very, very poetic. My pick for number 8 is a free-to-play game that came back out in February of 2018 that shook the very idea of a battle royale game to its core.
I know what this is.
This game, I had to choose because it was, like, for the first month, it was a blast to play. I chose Apex Legends. Mm-hmm. Done by EA, and a semi-ancestor, or it's basically the next evolution of Titanfall. And if you've ever played any Titanfall game, if you've played any Titanfall game, you know how awesome the movement mechanics are in that game. And this game just carries it on beautifully. Solid, fluid movement, a fun, quick-paced, unlike old, Battle Royale games where you just sit around for 30, 40 minutes doing piss all. This game actually forces you to move. It's a fun game, and it was a great addition to the kind of stale, very, very fast, stale Battle Royale market. But then it kind of went to shit, so...
Yeah. I'm kind of interested in playing Apex because Respawn makes quality shooters, but Battle Royale.
It's a very well made battle. Like it's genuinely, it's incredibly fun, and you don't have to worry about a bunch of stupid shit Fortnite.
That's yeah. But speaking of Spencer, hi Spencer.
Hello.
What is your pick for number 8?
Well, if you're playing a video game and you hear this, would you think that it's a Legend of Zelda game?
Oh, I know what this is.
Number 8 is Cadence of Hyrule. Developed by Brace Yourself Games and published by Nintendo for Nintendo Switch. Legend of Zelda is mostly known for their unique dungeons, but also Koji Kondo's masterclass in music. Crypt of the Necrodancer was a fun indie game that took the concept of a rhythm game and a dungeon crawler and smashed them together. But what if they were combined? That is what we got. Incredibly fun and rather challenging take on the Necrodance formula. Playing as Link, Zelda, or a Deku, you go around the original Zelda and defeat bosses on the beat to win instantly. Many songs are used and there's many collectibles to grab. But if you get good at it, it is once again a rather short game. Probably beat it in about 3 to 4 hours. Once you find everything, there's no real point to replay. But enjoy everything while you can, because this is a very, very groovy game.
Very well said. Cadence of Hyrule was in my running to make my list, but I unfortunately did not play enough of it. I really should play more of it because it's a very, very good game. But my pick for number 8 is Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. The original Yooka-Laylee is sort of a phenomenon in modern gaming. Developed by the team who created Banjo-Kazooie, it was meant to recapture the magic of those classic 3D platformers, but it ended up leaving a lot to be desired with most fans. Fast forward 3 years, and the team at Playtonic have given us a sequel, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, a game that takes all of the criticism the original game received and uses it to craft a title that exceeds it in every conceivable way. A tribute to the original Donkey Kong Country games rather than Banjo-Kazooie, the Impossible Lair ditches the 3D collectathon design for a pure 2D platforming game, and by doing so, it excels in ways the original never could. Limiting the game to a 2D platformer allows both the gameplay and level design to truly shine. This is a DKC game through and through, while also incorporating elements of the modern Rayman games to create a melting pot of different platformers. Much like those newer DKC games, you have a buddy character, Laylee. Together the pair can perform very helpful maneuvers like a ground pound and a midair hover, but once damaged, Laylee flies off and Yooka is left with a limited moveset. Thankfully, there is a buffer period where you can get her back, which encourages fast but cautious play. The levels are all designed expertly to take advantage of these moves, and what follows is a very classic feeling platformer drenched in old school challenge and secrets. What sets this apart, however, is the overworld. More than just a roadmap between different stages, the overworld is a 3D isometric environment where players can explore to unlock new stages, talk to NPCs, and solve numerous puzzles. And it's this stark contrast with the 2D stages that makes the overworld a welcome addition, simultaneously operating as a change of pace from the standard levels, while also being its own beast at the same time. Add in the returning tonics that change how the game plays, alternate versions of every single stage, and all the classic Banjo charm, and Playtonic have truly redeemed themselves with the Impossible Lair. If they can keep reinventing Yooka-Laylee in future titles, I will be very interested to see what they can cook up. For these reasons and more, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair made number 8 on my list. So yeah, good. Kudos to Playtonic for getting their shit together. Let's move on to number 7. Josh, what is your pick for number 7?
My pick for number 7 is a game that kind of came out of the blue for me that I heard about from a friend. I saw him playing it, and I was like, hey, what's that game? And he said this game is Slay the Spire. A roguelike card game. Unlike traditional roguelike games where it's either a dungeon crawl or something like this, this is a card game where you use your cards, you build your deck to fight through the multiple dungeons to beat the boss and to slay the spire. Now, the base game itself is really fun, but the reason why I like this so much is if you play on PC, there's a whole bunch of mods that add a whole bunch of new cards and content to the game to make it even better. And one of my personal favorite mods is a Sakuya Izai mod from Toho, which just makes the game pretty cool.
Oh, that's actually interesting.
If you enjoy any type of card game and dungeon crawlers and stuff like that, give it a try. It's a really fun game.
All right, good pick. Spencer, is your number 7 the same?
It is not.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Although Slay the Spire is very good. My number 7 involves something. Okay, we need to get a bit crazy. We need to get a bit wild. Some might say we even need to get
bananas. Number 7 is My Friend Pedro. Developed by Dead Toast Entertainment and published by my favorite, Devolver Digital. Listen, guys, I haven't had a Hotline Miami type game for quite some time, okay? I haven't had a fun, ridiculous, shoot everybody, wacky, stupid game in a while. And while I still want one, My Friend Pedro fills that wacky hole for time. This is a game where you can do a ridiculous amount of bullshit while a banana speaks about murdering and killing people with skill. It's insane fun and worth the price of admission, but definitely not something for everyone. But there is something to say about rolling, jumping off of a ledge, taking 2 guns out, shooting somebody, hitting the ground, rolling, picking up a skateboard, grinding on a rail, kick flipping the skateboard into somebody's head, picking the skateboard up, knocking somebody else unconscious, rolling, grabbing a gas can, throwing the gas can up in the air, taking a shotgun out, shooting the gas can, setting things on fire, jumping out of a window, grabbing onto a hook to land on 2 villains, shoot their enemies, roll, and then do a little twirl.
Nice.
If that doesn't describe My Friend Pedro, I don't know what the fuck does.
It's dumb, but it's the best fucking dumb game.
Oh, it's the best kind of dumb. All right, very, very good pick. I wish I had gotten to play more of it. Then it probably would have made my list. But my pick for number 7 is Indivisible. Indivisible is a story about revenge. Its main character, Ajna, seeks revenge against the corrupt king after he orders the murder of her father and the destruction of her village. However, the game subverts the expectations of a standard revenge story very early on, as Ajna defeats the king, only to find that she gained absolutely nothing from it. Instead, she ends up awakening a dark power within her that brings an even greater threat that will destroy the entire world. Ajna feels conflicted about this. She doesn't think she was necessarily wrong for wanting revenge, but she feels terrible knowing that she is the cause of an imminent cataclysm, housing an unknown power she doesn't want that alienates her from her peers. This is the driving force behind Indivisible's story, as Ajna works to both understand herself better and find her place in the world, while also trying to fix what she did wrong. The supporting cast all work in tandem with Ajna to right her wrongdoing, but they all have their own interesting designs, personalities, and motivations that make them stand on their own. The writing sells this fractured camaraderie in a very natural way. Some are more accepting of the situation, while others are scared or displeased about it. And it's this friendly friction that permeates as the group works towards their goal that makes the cast of Indivisible one of the best of the year. Its gameplay is just as good, opting for a 2D Metroidvania-style overworld that encourages exploration, backtracking, and platforming. Its combat, however, is the biggest selling point, as it falls in line with a turn-based JRPG while mixing in elements of traditional fighting games with directional inputs, combo attacks, and finishing moves. Combine all this with a gorgeous hand-drawn art style, wonderful music, and some of the most memorable characters of the entire year, and Indivisible is a fantastic new take on RPGs, one that pays homage to the classics while doing its own weird thing in the process. This game will stand out to many for years to come. If that didn't convince you to play Indivisible, I don't know what will.
Yeah, because
fucking incredible.
I've heard so much about it.
It's so great. Anyway, let's move on to number 6. Almost halfway through the list already. We're zooming here, boys.
We're zooming, boys.
Josh, what is your pick for number 6?
My pick for number 6 was a game that came out very early in the year, but something that I was very excited about when I got my Nintendo Switch. Mm-hmm. It was a definitive edition, or a remaster, of a game that I never played, but I wanted to play because it's from one of my favorite franchises.
Okay.
My number 6 game is Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. if you are a fan at all of any type of Tales game, this is a great way to get into it. Unlike a lot of the newer Tales titles, which are very dark and morbid, this is a very light, carefree, fun story that deals with just, oh no, they stole the item, let's go get it back. Oh shit, that guy stole his item, that stole my item, let's get him, take his item, give it back to the guy that stole my item. It's a fun game, and the combat, of course, it's a Tales game. Your combat is amazing and flawless, and seeing it run at 60 FPS, mwah, and the graphic, seeing everything just look so nice was very nice. It's a fun game, and if you just want to enjoy a nice lighthearted story, this is a great way to do it.
All right, a classic for JRPG fans, definitely. All right, Spencer, what is your pick for number 6?
Number 6 is a game based off of the works of one of my favorite authors. Number 6 is The Sinking City, developed by Frogwares and published by Big Ben Interactive.
What?
Now, before I get into this game, a little bit about Frogwares as a studio. Frogwares is a Ukrainian Maltese studio who is famous for making those Sherlock Holmes adventure games.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah, that's what they're most famous for. Well, The Sinking City is that, but it's based off of H.P. Lovecraft's work. So I like Lovecraft. Some might say I love Lovecraft. I put in my notes, and I can't believe I wrote that.
Yeah, same dude. I can't believe I wrote that fucking blazing pun back in number 10.
He is, in my opinion, one of the most eclectic and inspired writers of all time. If a game is based off of his mythos or works, I will 100% buy it and play it. This game is no exception. I bought Call of Cthulhu and then The Sinking City in 2 days.
That's too much Lovecraft.
That's too much Lovecraft for most people. So, and as I put, the developers created a large amount of Sherlock Holmes adventure game. In this game, you play as Detective Charles Reed as you venture to Oakmont, Massachusetts during the 1920s. Mm-hmm. And before I get on, this game is very jank. Okay?
It seems very jank from what I've seen.
You often clip into things, you can fall into places and get stuck. Sometimes if you move the camera too fast, the camera will jut into the environment and then jut back out. But you don't play those Sherlock Holmes games or games like this for smooth, noble game. You play it because you want to be a private eye. You play it because you like Lovecraft, and you know what? I want to be a detective. I want to solve some crime. And unlike things like Ace Attorney, where it's mostly a visual novel with some minor gameplay elements like searching for clues and doing law stuff, this game, as well as the Sherlock Holmes games, are built around the idea of you're not a lawyer, you are a detective. There are many unique tools and even a really nice warning in the beginning of the game about how this mythos, the person that this is based off of, it is not. It's what was written in his novels is not okay then and is not okay now. But to continue to disprove it and not show it would be it wouldn't be right. It's like what they did for the beginning of Mafia 3, mm-hmm. where it's like, listen, this stuff happened, and we can't just pretend that it did. Lovecraft, as much as I love him as a writer, as a person, he was a terrible human.
Yep.
And this shows it. He was in the late 19th century, living in Providence, Rhode Island. He was a white Protestant, and he didn't like a lot of immigrants. He didn't like Asians. He didn't like black. He didn't like a lot of people that weren't him. And that's not okay. However, to completely disprove and disallow all of this doesn't allow us to learn. And doesn't allow us to understand that his writing is still, it's this most mental kind of look Like, if My Friend Pedro is a stupid action game about being dumb, this is a thought-provoking game about the 1920s and what it meant to be a detective. It's the reason why I wrote the most about this, because this is something that I'm very into, and you can turn on the mind's eye, and you can find things that aren't supposed to be there. You can get little flashes of insight. You can follow people based off of clues that you pick up. There's a mind palette. You have to kind of piece together clues. It is the most in-depth kind of solving of a crime I've seen in a video, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But Lovecraft might not have been the kindest person to everybody, but his work should be respected for the genius that it is. And this game is no exception.
All right, good pick. Well said. I feel like feel like, especially in recent years, there's been a lot more media about Lovecraft's work.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like there's like an uprise in Lovecraft popularity again. I don't know. But good pick. Good pick.
If you haven't read his stuff, dude, let me know. I'll lend you the Necronomicon.
I've read a couple of his stories, not many of them, but I have read some of it.
Good pick, but just very, very well said, man.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Let's move on to my number 6, which is the exact opposite of everything Spencer just said. My pick for number 6 is River City Girls.
The exact
The perfect contrast. There have been many games on this list so far that have paid homage to the classics, but none have done it better than River City Girls. A spin-off of the iconic Kunio-kun series, known in the West as River City Ransom, River City Girls stars Misako and Kyoko, the girlfriends of series pro-tags Kunio and Riki, who fight their way through River City to save their boyfriends after they've been kidnapped. River City Girls is as pure of a beat-em-up as you can get. Wide open level design, secrets galore, enemies everywhere, and pulse-pounding action from beginning to end. But it modernizes many of these aspects to both flesh them out and polish them to the 10th degree. The combat focuses more on combo attacks than the classics were ever capable of, as Misako and Kyoko level up and can unlock new moves to extend their combos. The game is designed as a pseudo-open world, where all the different areas of River City are interconnected. This gives the game a much larger sense of scale, while not being too big or taxing to traverse through.
Now, Shane,
yes.
Can you tell me what the greatest move in the game is?
You can fucking dab on people and it produces a rainbow?
Wait, what?
Did you not know that?
Dude, I know next to nothing about fucking River City Girls.
Okay. Okay.
What?
You play as Kyoko. One of her moves when she levels up to, I think, level 6, she gets a fucking rainbow dab.
You can literally dab on the haters?
You can dab. That's literally a move in this game. You dab on the haters.
Oh my god.
Breaking faces.
If that's not incentive to play this game, and I don't know.
God, you're just giving me games now.
Scattered around the city are various shops the player can enter to buy health items, new combo moves, and various charms that can be equipped to give status buffs. In this sense, River City Girls incorporates many RPG elements into its classic beat-em-up gameplay, allowing for more depth and character customization. The modernization is topped off with its visual fidelity that aims for a 32-bit high-pixel art style that is crisp, vibrant, and has wonderfully charismatic animations. This all culminates in its boss battles, each and every one being a tough-as-nails fight that have their own gimmicks, patterns, and tricks up their sleeve. Combine this with seamless co-op, post-game unlockables, and one of the best soundtracks of the year, and River City Girls stands on its own as a modern beat-em-up classic. So yeah, if that wasn't incentive for you to play this, Spencer, I don't know what is, because you can literally dab on the fucking haters, and it's great.
Yeah, literally dab on it.
All right, we're already at the halfway point. We are really zooming today. So let's get to the second half of our list, starting with number 5. Josh, what is your pick for number 5?
My pick for number 5 is my favorite game series of all time. However, this game disappointed. It was still good. I'm glad I got it, but compared to the other games, god damn did this disappoint me. Number 5 is Super Neptunia RPG.
Okay. I
Now,
remember
wanna
you talking
preface
about
it
this.
I want to preface it with story and art style were amazing. I absolutely love the 2D, almost Paper Mario inspired art style done by a Canadian studio, by the way. Shout out to the boys in Canada.
That I did
And
not
of
know.
course, all Neptunia stories are hilarious. This one being everyone lost their memories, a joke on the first game, and they're just trying to figure out who they are. The big problem that comes with this game, though, is its gameplay fucking sucks. Like I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't know why they decided to skip their really well-founded turn-based gameplay system from Mega Dimension Neptunia, which was spot on perfect, and ditch it for this mobile game inspired. Oh, you gotta save up your turns and then just do some basic attacks. Bullshit. It disappointed me in terms of that gameplay. But art style and story, very great. It's Neptunia. You can expect a whole bunch of fucking memes.
All right, Josh with the meme lord for number 5. Spencer, what is your pick for number 5?
Well, let's see. For my next card, I play Pot of Greed. Allows me to draw 2 cards. Pot of Greed.
I see
It
where
allows
this
me
is
to
going.
draw 2 cards.
I see where this is going.
Pot of Greed. It's Slay the Spire.
It's Slay Spires.
So while it is higher than what Brunritz was, it's only because even without all the mods, because I didn't realize that, I'm having the time of my life playing this card game, this dungeon crawling card game. Shout out to developer Megacrit and published by the Humble Bundle of all people. Slay the Spire is a card-based, what'd you call it? Dungeon crawler? Roguelike?
Yeah, it's a roguelike dungeon crawler.
Roguelike dungeon crawler where you play as 3 characters off the bat. I don't know if you can if there are characters you can mod in.
For PC, it's easy as just going on the Steam Workshop, clicking download. And also, I want to preface it with this game's super easy to run on PC, so if you want those mods, get it.
Listen, my laptop is like
Your laptop could run this.
5.5. Oh, it does run it. It runs it smoothly. Maybe some minor hiccups because it's like a almost 6-year-old laptop, but it runs it really nicely. It's not graphically intensive.
It's a good game.
It's a fun game. It's challenging, but it's strategic because there's no surprises. The game tells you, okay, this enemy is going to be doing 11 damage to you. This enemy is going to be doing a debuff. This enemy is going to be putting up a shield this turn. So what are you going to do? You have 4 energy, but 3 of those are 0-cost cards that allow you to duplicate a card, or you can deal damage to it twice to try to stop the 11 damage person from attacking. Or if you can't kill it outright, then you can weaken it to at least cut the damage down so you can put up a couple of shields, hopefully negate the damage as possible. Then you get into the large sprawling map, which Brunrit didn't talk about. The dungeons are awesome.
They are very cool.
But the dungeon experience is a set of rooms. There's no walking. You click on your next place, and there are forks in the road. You can go to an elite enemy, which will give you more gold and give you better cards, maybe. Or you can go to a campfire where you can forge and upgrade, or you can rest and heal some HP. Or you can go to a mystery, and maybe you can find something that that could help you further on in your travels. Or you can go to, a bunch of places, and there are like 100 different ways that you can play every level. Sure, they all go back to the same 4 forks to get to the boss, but it's the way that you start and the way that you get there that is the journey. And with the, large amount of mods that there probably are for it, it's not graphically intensive. It's one of the most fun games I've played. Easy to pick up, easy to put down, but hard to master. And
there are hundreds of different deck styles you can run with.
Oh, yeah.
DPS, tank,
glass cannon,
counter, debuffs,
buffs, energy accumulation. There are some cards that will only work if you have no cards in your draw pile. It'll do 25 damage, but you have to have a card. You have to have 0 cards in your draw pile, which means that you might need to remove a couple of cards from your deck in order to make it easier, or you can get rid of that card and replace it with a card that might give you more shield or more power. And very, very fun. Definitely worth the number 5 spot because it's easily the middle of the road. Not a super complex game, but it'll keep you going for a while.
Good pick. I knew that both of you had this on your list, so I was interested to see how you both described it. I think it's on Game Pass, so I might actually pick it up after this. Who knows?
And it's pretty cheap. It's pretty cheap on Steam.
But my pick for number 5, ironically, is Gears 5. Nice. That's just how the numbers landed, dude. I did not anticipate that, but enjoy this gameplay of me sucking hard at Gears 5. Gears 5 is the best example of a game that plays it safe. It does very little to evolve its mechanics beyond those of its predecessors, but it doesn't really need to, because despite that, Gears 5 is some of the most fun I've had playing a game all year, and easily the best online multiplayer game I've played in a long time. Gears 5's multiplayer doesn't do much new. It offers a few new weapons, modes, player skins, things like that. But for the most part, it's standard Gears Online fare, which is fine because the game has been polished to hell and back. It feels noticeably smoother than past entries, which leads to some of the most fast, chaotic matches as you glide across the map and slaughter both Cogs and Locust. Gears 5 is also not skimping out when it comes to content. On top of the standard multiplayer, you have the return of Horde mode, which has a few new features, and a brand new mode called Escape, which sees 3 players working against a horde of locusts to escape from their hive. While Escape isn't the most original mode in the world, and it does share a lot of similarities with Horde, it can lead to some tense, frantic matches that are a ton of fun. However, most of what Gears 5 does to evolve its formula can be seen in its campaign. Focusing on Kate as the main character, as she deals with her splitting psyche and the remnants of her past, Gears 5 takes an effort to focus more on its characters here than most other Gears campaigns, all while having the series' trademark blockbuster action in spades. It also takes a few new ventures when it comes to its level design, as the middle chapters house a pseudo-open world design that players can explore to find collectibles and complete small side missions. This new approach to its story and its level design makes Gears 5's campaign both a breath of fresh air and one of the best in the series' history. Couple this with amazing visuals that rival some of the best in the industry, a fantastic score, and tons of replay value, and Gears 5 proves that you don't have to reinvent the wheel to be good. Sometimes, you just need to be a fun game. And that's one of the things that I strive for a lot when it comes to games. Like, a game doesn't have to be revolutionary to be good. If you just have fun with it, you have fun with it. That's basically what it comes down to at the end of the day. But let's move on to our number 4 picks. I'm going to change up the order for this one entry and start with Spencer because I think Josh and I both have the same pick. So let's start with Spencer. Spencer, what is your number 4?
Okay. Give me 1 second to cue this up real quick. But it's a game that I am almost positive is going to be on Brunrit's list as well. But
yep.
Here's what I have to say to that.
Came with your fucking Xbox. I didn't get it. I have the oldest Xbox known to Fodlan. No, you don't. I bought mine on day one, you fucking dastard.
I don't fucking have it, you fucking
You
bitch.
have Uno, you fucking bitch.
I don't fucking have it. I don't have Uno.
You have Uno!
I don't fucking have Uno, you bitch.
You have Caden, you'll be able to download it for free, you dumb motherfucker. It's a fucking card game. You don't even charge people.
I don't have Uno.
So it's 3 houses.
Yeah, that's about
What just
3 houses
happened?
in a nutshell.
And I can play that whole video because there is no copyrighted material in that whatsoever.
What just happened?
Because those are not the actual voice actors. So I like Fire Emblem. I liked Awakening. I thought it was really fun. I thought Fate's kind of a disappointment. I haven't played Shadows of Valencia, but I did play some of the old GameCube games, like released on. 3 Houses is amazing. Intelligent Systems teams up with Koei Tecmo to create a Fire Emblem game that is also fully voice acted and has the largest amount of LGBT representation in the entire game series. Surprisingly, most of the people are bi. Very interesting. There is one 100% gay option, and I believe there's one 100% lesbian option. But this is the most that Fire Emblem's had, I'm pretty sure, like, ever. The game the gameplay is fun. It is a turn-based RPG. And if you know anything about Awakening, you know basically how the game played, except for there's some minor changes. Mostly being that you get to level up a selection of students yourself. You get to basically tell them, no, Lysithia, you're going to do magic and you're going to enjoy it, okay? And you're basically forcing these children to become child soldiers. It's amazing. There is 4 complete stories for you to play. Do you go with the Golden Dawn, a deer, the meme house?
Fear the deer.
Fear the deer. That's what me and Brunrich chose. The best house. Do you go with the Blue Lions, which are sad? Do you go with the worst house? That's right. I said it. The worst.
Fuck you,
house.
Adam.
Fuck you, Adam. The Black Eagle.
Yeah, only cowards pick Black Eagles.
Which has 2 stories, depending on if you side with the church or if you side with Edelgard and her stupid fucking dumb bullshit.
Yeah, double-sided for cowards.
Fuck
Exactly.
you, Adam. Fuck you, Adam. Don't ever talk shit about
I don't even
Afterparty,
care about
little
this
bitch.
game, and I'm going to side with these 2.
Only cowards don't fear the deer. The game's fun, to put it bluntly, and I'm almost positive that it's on Brunrich's list as well, somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure it's top 3.
So he'll talk about it as well, but all I have to say to kind of round this out is that I am Ferdinand von Ayer.
Alrighty, Ferdinand. Thank you for your opinions there. They're very
I am
very well
Ferdinand
spoken.
von Ayer.
All
Voiced
right.
by Billy Kametz, by the way.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, son. Don't disappoint me. What is your number 4?
So, number 4 is a foray into a game series that I've only played one other by them. However, the one that I did play by them was fucking amazing, and I loved it. So I figured, why not give it a shot? This game looks amazing. I thought it was originally going to be a Psychopaths game, but goddamn, am I happy it came out. Number 4 is Astral Chain by Platinum Gameworks.
Astral Chain, boys. Let's fucking go.
Fucking hell, this game is something else, man. Astral Chain is a game set in a very distant future where the world is slowly being devoured by... I honestly don't remember what they're called, so I'm going to call them alien.
They're chimeras.
Chimeras, thank you. They're being devoured by chimeras, and the people's solution to this is take control of these chimeras and basically use them as stands and beat the shit out of the chimeras.
Yeah, use them with
your
JoJo
stand.
Punchy Ghost.
You can use a JoJo Punchy Ghost. You can go aura. However, the story was alright, but the big thing that sold this game was its fucking gameplay. Oh my god. You have 5 different ways to play this game. With your Punchy, you can use a big-ass axe, apparently. I thought it was a big-ass sword, but big-ass axe. You can use a sword, you can use a bow, you can use... you can use a doggo. You can use a good doggo.
Yeah, you can ride on doggo.
It was a little choppy. The gameplay was a little, below 30 FPS. But it didn't take away from how fun this game was. Just every single moment. And the further you got into the game, the better and more anime it gets, and that's in a good way. Considering when you're just punching the shit out of each other with 2 giant auras and just anime music blaring in the background, that was like my favorite fucking moment in the game.
It's ironic that that's exactly what's playing right now.
That moment just was so amazing when you're punching either your brother or your sister to all high hell and just anime music's blaring in the background, you got your Super Saiyan going, you're like, ah! This game was amazing. Shane?
Astral Chain is Platinum Games' magnum opus. Easily the most ambitious title they've ever developed. Astral Chain puts players in the role of a Neuron Task Force member who work to rid the world of alien chimeras that have pushed humanity to the brink of extinction. Its dark, desolate, but strangely colorful futuristic world is akin to something like Psychopaths, a cyberpunk dystopia overflown with the unknown. While the game is capped at 720p 30 frames per second, the art design still shines through, cramming as much detail into its cel-shaded anime visuals as is possible on a Nintendo Switch. The level of detail carries through to the environments as well, which brings us to one of the most interesting things about Astral Chain, its focus on exploration. Astral Chain is still an action game, a staple for the studio, but it puts just as much attention on having players explore the different areas of the Ark to interrogate civilians, search for clues, and perform side operations to solve cases.
Listen, I think the greatest gameplay moment was throwing cans into a garbage can.
Oh, that's the best part of the game, hands down. Who cares about all this anime action shit?
Dude, invigorating gameplay. You get money for...
Yeah, you get money for every can you dispose of. It's great. By focusing on this design aspect, Astral Chain becomes more of an action RPG than the studio's previous titles. Something that not only makes things feel fresh, but puts a lot more emphasis on the world itself, which has been clearly very well thought out. But it's not a Platinum game without its action, and at the start, Astral Chain almost disappoints in this aspect. Its combat is clunky, unintuitive, and strangely limited, giving only a baton and a gun with only one combo for each. It is not until the Legions, your chimeric partners, are fully implemented that the true combat system begins to take center stage. Controlling both your character and Legion simultaneously has a very steep learning curve, but once overcome, is a beautiful symphony of dual character action that few other games have managed to accomplish. As you progress, you not only get new weapons and combos to perform, but you gain different legions, each with their own unique abilities, and being able to switch between them on the fly in battle creates some truly stellar action moments. The versatility of the legions is what makes Astral Chain yet another fantastic action romp from the team at Platinum, but mixed with the greater focus on story, world building, and exploration, make it one of, if not, the greatest games Platinum has ever made. One that I hope gets a sequel to expand even further on its wonderful design philosophies. For these reasons and more, Astral Chain made number 4 on my list.
It's just such a fun game to play.
It's so good. Like
you don't even have to care about the story. If you just want to have fun playing a game, this game is just pure fun. And especially the further you get into the campaign.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, when I started playing it, I wasn't too sure on it because it felt oddly stilted. But as you know, the legions become more involved and the combat starts to flesh itself out. It's just so much fun.
Exactly. Like, once you start getting those 5 legions and you can just pull off crazy-ass combos switching legions mid-fight, it's so rewarding.
But let's move on. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty, the top 3. Let's start things off with Josh. What is your pick for number 3?
Okay. My pick for number 3 is a game that when I first heard this was coming out, I lost my shit. I was so excited about it. I just could not stop because this was one of my games that I played when I was younger. It is just such a fucking masterpiece of a game that when it got ported, goddamn, it was the greatest port I've ever played. It is Halo Reach on PC.
Respectable choice. Respectable.
Holy shit. So, I played Halo Reach back when it first came out in 2011. 2010. I loved that game. It was fucking amazing. I honestly personally think it's the best Halo game of all time. I played Halo 3, but then I played Reach, and I just thought it was the next evolution. It was so fun. So when I heard in 2018 that they were porting Halo Reach to PC, I lost my fucking shit. I was worried because 2019 was a bad year for PC ports. 2018 was a bad year for PC ports.
Every year is a bad year for PC ports.
PC ports in general are pretty iffy. So I was a little worried. However, when it came out, all that worry was wiped away because this game is the best goddamn port I've played in such a long time.
To briefly interrupt here, I can attest to this. I am not a PC gamer, but I played Halo Reach on PC, and that thing runs incredibly well.
I built a $400 PC with very low-end parts. It runs it at 1080p at 60 FPS. Mm-hmm. If you have a cheap PC and you want to enjoy Halo Reach, get it. The multiplayer alone will keep you going for days upon days. It is so fun to play, and I just missed going back to my childhood and playing a game that I loved so much. Thank you, Microsoft.
Respectable choice. Halo Reach is definitely a classic. Spencer, what is your pick for number 3?
My pick for number 3 is this weird game, okay? It's this odd game. Not many people have heard of it.
Oh, here we go.
It's this super indie title. It was developed by an internal team in the company. Okay? Really weird. I don't think anybody's heard of it. So just let me know if you have or not. It's called Resident Evil 2.
I'm not sure if I know what that is, actually.
It's from this game series that kind of lost their edge, you know. The game came out in 1998. Has some guy called... One second. Let me just... Leon S. Kennedy. He's some no-name cop guy.
Who the fuck is that guy? Never heard of him.
Yeah, never heard of the fucking dork.
Dude, he's some dork. Like, that's what he is. And then there's some random hot lady. Her name's Claire. Which who names their kid Claire? What a dumb name.
You put an E on top of that? They're a fucking French pastry? Like,
oh, Claire? Nice one.
Fucking idiots.
You replace her last name with an I?
What's her last name? Probably something stupid about a field.
Dude, it's Redfield.
Oh!
What a stupid name.
What a fucking dumb bitch. Man,
whoever's last name is Redfield must do absolutely nothing right.
I know. Like, they probably can't even punch boulders.
Now that the bit's done.
Resi 2.
Holy shit. This was from the ground up. Mm-hmm. They fucking rocked the sock off of this entire everything. Capcom is at a peak.
Cap gods are back, dude.
Cap God is back. And the remake is something very special. Not only does it show that the RE engine is the greatest thing that this company has ever created, and it's an engine that they will be using for the next probably like 10, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
But it shows that just because you remake something doesn't mean it has to be it doesn't mean it has to be the same game.
Exactly.
This is not a remaster. This is not them taking a game, cleaning it up a little bit, maybe adding a couple of things, and then putting it, and then selling it again. Obviously, not saying that remaster is bad, because there's a lot of really good remasters out there. Like there's the BioShock collection, which is just the PS4 version of all the cleaned up BioShock games. This is from the ground up. Not only did they change like some of the way that the enemies moved and reacted, the way that the guns felt, the graphics. This game is gorgeous. Like, this game looks absolutely beautiful.
Oh, that fucking engine.
But they took a game that everybody loved. Because even if you know next to nothing about Resident Evil, you've heard people talk about it. And you've heard people talk about how RE2 is like a masterpiece. And they took it, and then they released free DLC for it.
Yep.
And then, what was it, like, last month? They're like, oh, by the way, it may have gotten leaked, but yeah, we're doing an RE3 make.
Yeah, we're doing RE3 like everyone wanted us to do.
There you go.
There you go, you cunt. It's coming out within a year?
Yeah?
Of Resi 2?
Because they don't give a shit.
Like, clearly they finished development on Resi 2 and went straight to Resi 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
They carried everything over.
But this game feels amazing. It is tense. This is what people wanted when RE5 and RE6 came out. Because RE4 kind of got away from this kind of ammo preservation, claustrophobia. It's still good.
It still had the ammo preservation, but yeah, it went more for...
I've always called RE4 a James Bond horror.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, I can see that.
And RE2 was fixed camera angles, which you can actually change. You can change the game to have fixed camera angles. It's awesome.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
That's an option?
I believe so. I'm almost positive it's either it was patched in or it was like talked about. But yeah, I believe you can make it fixed camera.
Dude, that's like in Doom 2016. You can have it be like the classic gun holding where it's like right in front of you instead of off to the side.
Yeah.
That's dope. If that's true, that's fucking dope.
I'm almost positive. Do not quote me on that one, though. Because...
Here, give me a sec. I will search it up.
Yeah, you look it up.
Yeah. I'm probably wrong, but I think I remember either it was a rumor or it was something to do with the fact you could change it.
Okay. It's a mod.
That's what I thought.
But it's still in there.
It sounded like a mod to me.
Okay.
But it's still in there.
It's still in there. You can still do it, but this game's awesome. And if you haven't played RE2, much like the original remake for the GameCube, you now have, at this point, you have no reason not to play the first three games. Because the remake for the GameCube is outstanding. Sure, you don't have as bad voice acting, but they fixed a bunch of stuff. And just as a side note, because I love this story and I won't get to talk about it, you can get Jill's RE3 costume in the remake, which is a tank top and like a little mini skirt.
Mm-hmm.
There is actual transcripts from an internal Capcom meeting where they talked about what color to make Jill's panties.
Nice.
Because in RE1, there's a mirror pool which your character can walk over and you can see up her skirt. It's only one room, but there's an actual thing where they're like, they wanted to make it red. At first, it's like, oh, it's vibrant. But then the guy who made it, the director, is like, we're just going to make it black because that way it'll blend in and it's not weird. But that has nothing to do with the RE2 make, which has Ada in it, and now everybody's falling in love with Ada, which is great because I already dealt with that enough as a kid. I don't want to deal with it again as more people play the fucking game.
Why, do you not like Ada?
Compared to Claire, no.
Yeah, you're right.
But also, to end it, to go completely full circle, the best thing to come out of this is the memes about Chris just calling Leon and like begging him to fucking date Claire.
Hey Chris, have you or hey Leon, have you heard of my really awesome sister Claire? You should totally marry her.
She's pretty hot.
Because nobody bangs in this fucking game series.
Please.
There is no dating, there is no fucking. The only person who has a canon daughter is Barry fucking Burton. And she shows up in Revelation 2, and she's awesome.
Shout out to Barry Burton, I have his handgun.
Yes, but if you have not played the RE2 make, get on it, dude.
There you go. Respectable choice. My pick for number 3 is a little known game. You might have heard of it. It's pretty niche. I think it won an award at the Game Awards. It's called Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice.
What's a Sekiro?
Did you mean Dark Souls? Do you mean Dark Souls 3?
I guess maybe. I'm not sure.
Wait. How do you say it? Sekiro?
Sekiro? I don't know.
Let me try and pronounce it properly. Dark Souls 3?
Demon Souls 4?
Sekiro is an interesting game. Directed by FromSoft veteran Hidetaka Miyazaki, Sekiro is a strange blend of all of FromSoft's modern efforts. It simultaneously pays tribute to its older Dark Souls brethren and reinvents the style of those games helped establish. Also, I think you're echoing again.
I am?
Yeah.
Better?
Maybe? Yeah, no, it is. Okay.
Cool.
Set in feudal Japan, Sekiro is, at its core, very similar to the Souls games. It uses the same combat system as those titles, but what sets Sekiro apart is its emphasis on speed, maneuverability, and countering. Enemies still have health bars, but the faster way to defeat them is to break their posture by attacking when their guard is low. Break their posture, and you can deliver the finishing blow. But the same applies to you. If you don't want enemies breaking your posture and dealing heavy damage, you have to learn how to parry. This parry-centric combat is contrasted with several upgrades to movement that the previous games didn't have. The game is somehow even faster than the aggressively paced Bloodborne, and the addition of jumping, infinite stamina, and a motherfucking grappling hook gives this game a hidden depth to its combat. It's all about outmaneuvering your opponent while bombarding them with a thick offense. Sekiro doesn't just change up its gameplay, but also its aesthetic and level design. Opting for a feudal Japan setting, the world of Sekiro breathes new life into FromSoft's art design, as the photorealistic Japanese landscapes are gorgeous to look at, and they've been designed with the new movement options in mind, making for areas that are more open and have more branching pathways than ever before. The thing that makes Sekiro stand out the most, though, is its revival system. When you fall, you have the option to die and go back to a checkpoint, or revive on the spot and keep going. This adds a risk versus reward system, as you can keep it safe and return to the last checkpoint, or take the risk and push forward at the cost of endangering the world's NPCs. Couple this with an amazing soundtrack, and Sekiro is one of FromSoft's best titles to date. It's not quite as good as Bloodborne, but it lays the groundwork for even more exciting things to come. For these reasons and more, Sekiro made number 3 on my list. I don't know if many people have heard about that game. It's pretty niche, all things considered.
Okay, but what about Dark Souls?
Okay, moving on. Number 2. Big boy number 2. We're getting to the end of the list. Josh, what is your pick for number 2?
So, I originally had my number 1 and 2 spots set in mind, but after hearing people talk about it, I really need to flip them. My number 2 choice is Resident Evil 2 Remake. Holy shit, man. What a game. Spencer did an amazing job of just going over how wonderful a game it is. The RE2 engine makes things beautiful. It is built from the ground up. The gameplay mechanics are fucking solid. The sense of fear and dread you get when you run out of ammo is feelings in the world, because ammo in this game, it's as rare as fucking seeing Jesus.
Okay.
It's hard to come across ammo in this game, and it really does make you appreciate and take your time to properly aim those shots and go for the kill. What did I start? Sorry. And the fact that they just keep on putting love in the game, they added free DLC, whole bunch of new stuff to the game that you don't even have to pay for. It's a great game, and Spencer just did an awesome job of covering it. Thank you, Spencer.
Well, I appreciate it.
Spencer is very good at some things.
Occasionally,
Yes.
I can do a good thing.
Speaking of Spencer, hi buddy.
Hey, buddy.
What did I start in gaming?
I don't fucking know.
You
I haven't
started
been looking
an
at the
actual
Discord.
argument.
I haven't been looking at the Discord at all, so I don't know what the fuck you guys are
As a
going on.
side note, love you, Rach. Don't worry. It's okay.
I'll look at it later when we're not being professional.
I
Spencer.
started the goddamn
Adam, stop doing this to people.
Spencer, what's your pick for number 2?
My number pick, actually, speaking of Adam and his ridiculous worldviews, I picked an actual good game. Number 2 is Disco Elysium. Both developed and published by Zone. It's this weird game. I don't know if you heard about it. I think it won an award at the Game Awards. I don't know. I didn't watch the Game Awards.
I actually haven't heard of it, so...
You haven't? Okay. Disco Elysium is what we in the group would commonly consider a Spencer game. It is an isometric detective tabletop RPG.
Yep, that sounds like a Spencer game.
That's a Spencer game,
Based off of an Estonian novelist writing. The game takes place after a successful communist overthrow of the monarchy in a small island chain in a country in a specific day. They've overthrown the monarchy. Communists are now in power. But then the communists get overthrown by a wide collection of capitalist people that come in, start to take over. There are skills. You move on a grid, and it is a detective game, but also there is combat as well. This game won what? Best Indie. It won
Best Indie, Best New Developer, Best Narrative, and I believe Best Writing? Was Writing an award?
I think
I don't remember.
But it won quite a bit, actually, for being a game that most people hadn't heard of. Play this game. You owe it to yourself and everybody else. Play this game because it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
If you are interested in video games that both deal with socio-political kind of ideas, but also you get to be a detective and solve crime, and you have a thought cabinet where you can put dialogue together to try to come up with deductions and clues and reasoning. Basically, if your name is Spencer Hill and you are William Blake's #1 fan,
Yeah.
And you happen to like video games and anime,
Yeah.
you're about 5'7", about like 150 pounds. You play a lot of sports. This is the game for you.
Yep.
But also, if you're Adam and you're fucking insane, it's also the game for you because it has communism.
So much communism.
So much communism. Capitalism is bad. There's no ethical consumption under capital. But this is number 2. This game's outstanding, dude.
Good choice. Honestly, I had not heard at all about Disco Elysium until the Game Awards, and now it's all that I hear about. So maybe I should pick it up. I don't know. Let's move on to my number 2, which is a big one. My number 2 is Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, remember this came out? It's pretty great.
Yeah.
In the Kingdom Hearts fandom, this game is very divisive. Some love it, others hate it. But, as a big Kingdom Hearts fan, I can personally say that in my opinion, asterisk, my opinion, this is everything I wanted this game to be. Kingdom Hearts 3 feels like the follow-up to KH2 that I've always wanted. A roller coaster of emotions, experiences, and goofy Disney bullshit. It sends off the saga of Kingdom Hearts in the best way possible. Its combat feels like a true evolution, like a mix between the older, heavier style of Kingdom Hearts 1 and the faster, more fluid, high-flying combat of Kingdom Hearts 2. What sets it apart, however, is the addition of Keyblade forms and a greater emphasis on action commands. In every world, Sora obtains a new Keyblade that reflects the world he has just visited, but each Keyblade also has its own unique transformation that changes its properties, leading to much more weapon variety than ever before. The new action commands also feel like an evolution of the command deck system from previous titles, allowing Sora to utilize powerful magic spells, Keyblade transformations, finishing moves, and new Disney attractions that can turn the tides in battle. This evolution is seen further in the worlds of Kingdom Hearts 3. Bigger than they've ever been, the worlds are vast, sprawling landscapes filled with detail and iconic Disney landmarks. They are also the most immaculate that they've ever been, as the new engine and the shift to modern consoles showcases the look, feel, and spirit of their original Disney properties better than any other title in the series' history. Speaking of look, the graphics in this game are simply stunning at times. The environments, character models, and particle effects are all rendered with such high fidelity while sticking close to the series' original stylized look. It looks so good that it starts to feel like you're actually watching a Disney movie rather than playing a game at some point. This all culminates in the story of Kingdom Hearts 3, which we'll get to. It sees the end of the Xehanort saga that the series has been building up since its inception. While it does have its fair share of flaws, which I will get to, the narrative, especially near the end, hits like a motherfucking truck, making callbacks to every previous entry while telling its own story that is marvelous, emotional, and deeply cathartic, all with an unexpected ending that is both satisfactory, thought-provoking, and leaves things open for the series to continue, makes this a true experience for fans eager to see the finale of this saga. It is one of the most emotional highs I've had in gaming this year. However, for as much praise as I give Kingdom Hearts 3, I cannot deny its several shortcomings. The sheer strength and reliance on action commands makes them overpowered, diluting the combat down to simply mashing the reaction button. The Disney worlds are arguably the most irrelevant that they've ever been, as very few major events tied to the narrative happen in them. The story, as climactic as its final act is anything but that in the lead-up, with much of the important stuff backloaded into its final third. This makes the story feel oddly absent for the first two-thirds of the game, which, while it leads to an explosive final act, is not what many would have expected from a game as hotly anticipated as Kingdom Hearts 3. But, despite all of these issues, I cannot deny the amount of fun I had playing through this game, and the magnitude of the impact it had on me several days after I beat it. Kingdom Hearts 3 is a flawed masterpiece, one that many will overlook, but those who decide to delve into its world will find so many things to love about it. For these reasons and more, Kingdom Hearts 3 was my number 2 pick. Sorry, I went a little long on that one. I had a lot to say about it. But,
well, you're going to probably be longer for you.
You just wait.
Which is why, for number 1, fuck you, you're going first.
Okay, really? Okay.
I am not going to be like super polite and like me and Brunwood are going to talk for like 3 minutes, 4 minutes combined, and then you're going to take 15 minutes to do your fucking dissertation.
I'm going to state my thesis.
Like, you're making me feel bad because I'm a person who really doesn't do a good job at explaining his feelings well. So
I'm sorry. I'm good at writing when I want to be.
You're just sitting here.
Also, you just really like this game. So go ahead, talk about it.
Okay.
What's your number 1 game?
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go like eat a sandwich or something.
Yeah, just fucking clear the room, boys. It's my time to shine. Time to state my thesis on my number 1 pick, my game of the year 2019. To no one's surprise, to no one's shock, it is Devil May Cry 5. Devil May Cry 5.
Wow, what a surprise. Spencer, are you surprised about this?
No.
Anyway.
Are you surprised, Brunwood?
Nope.
Okay. Clear the room. Clear the floor. I'm taking the stand.
Go ahead. Have your time. I'm muting my microphone.
Oh, okay. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna time myself for this because I actually want to see how long this goes.
Okay. Tell me when you're ready to start.
All right, I'm going to start now. I have talked about this game to death over the course of the year, so I will try to keep this as brief as I can. No fucking promises. I wrote 4 goddamn pages about this game. After looking back on all the games I played in 2019, I can say, without a shred of doubt in my mind, that Devil May Cry 5 is not only my pick for the best game of 2019, it is also the best game in the entire Devil May Cry series, the greatest action game ever made, and easily one of, if not, the best games that has come out in the last 10 years. Those are very bold claims, but I will try my best to explain why I feel this way. Devil May Cry 5 is a mastercraft in game design, one whose several moving parts come together to create an experience unlike anything else I played this year. Bar none. Its gameplay sticks to the original series combat system, full of lock-on, directional attacks, enemy stepping, cancels, and more. It is the most satisfying combat system I have ever had the privilege of playing, and over my several playthroughs this year has created some of the coolest, flashiest, most satisfying, and badass action sequences I have ever seen play out before me. This exquisite action game design is represented best in each of its 3 playable characters. Nero makes his return from DMC4, bringing many of his tools with him, like his revable Red Queen sword and his double-barrel Blue Rose pistol. However, his Devilbringer grappling arm has been replaced with a slew of interchangeable Devil Breakers, prosthetic arms that each have their own unique skills, properties, and attacks, such as a drill, a rocket punch, an electricity strike, even his classic Devilbringer, and so many more. These Devil Breakers add so many new layers of depth and versatility to Nero's combat system, allowing him to perform new action feats completely unthought of in DMC4. The Devil Breakers are also a great new risk versus reward mechanic. They are destroyed when attacked while using one, but the player can both charge them up for an ultimate attack or detonate them remotely to deal big damage. However, you can only have so many on you at one time. This forces players to think cautiously with their breakers, as they can play it safe by using them in standard ways, or sacrifice them in dire situations to deal massive blows to enemies. This mix of old and new revitalizes Nero and makes his playstyle possibly my favorite in the game. Next, we have Dante, who brings with him the return of style switching from DMC4 in the form of Swordmaster, which extends melee combos, Trickster, allowing for higher mobility with dashing and teleportation, Gunslinger, which gives every firearm an alternate firing mode, and Royal Guard for countering. Each of these styles can be switched on the fly during combat, leading to some of the nuttiest action you will ever see in a game. Watching high-level Dante gameplay is like watching a fucking dance sequence. Every single move is perfectly calculated and choreographed to perfection, creating a beautiful disaster of carnage. On top of his 4 styles, Dante also has his largest arsenal of weapons he has ever had. 6 melee weapons, 3 of which are duplicates of his classic Rebellion sword, 1 that has 2 different modes, 1 that can switch between 3 different elemental variants, and 6 firearms, which range from dual pistols, a shotgun, 2 rocket launchers, separate rocket launchers that can combine into one big fuck you rocket launcher, and a goddamn cowboy hat. Every single weapon at Dante's disposal is insanely fun to toy around with as you joyously slaughter the demon hordes. And with the ability to change not only styles, but also both melee weapons and firearms on the fly during combat, as well as both his Devil Trigger and his newer, stronger Sin Devil Trigger transformations, make Dante's playstyle in DMC5 the pinnacle of action game design. Then we get to the newcomer, V. V is a tricky character to discuss, both in his role in the story and his gameplay. For the first time in the franchise, we get a summon character with V, who, unlike Nero or Dante, utilizes his demon familiars to deal damage. These come in the form of Shadow, a panther that dishes out physical attacks, Griffin, a bird that shoots projectiles, and Nightmare, a hulking monstrosity that deals massive damage. V's gameplay focuses more on ranged combat and tactical precision, as instead of having V do any of the fighting himself, his familiars do it for him. This makes V the most unique character in Devil May Cry history, as his primarily long-range fighting style sets him apart from the characters that preceded him. But it's not to say that V doesn't do anything, as he can perform supportive actions to help out his familiars in combat. He can give each summon a boost with a bar of his Devil Trigger gauge, causing them to attack on their own as well as buffing them up. And he can also recite poetry from his trusty William Blake anthology book to recharge his Devil Trigger as well, giving him a valuable tool to farm meter. However, his most vital role in combat is dealing the finishing blow, as none of his familiars can kill enemies on their own. By designing V's combat like this, it gives equal importance to both V and his summons, as each have their own crucial role to play that the other cannot. Combine this with his emo goth-like design, his mysterious, almost stoic personality, and his role in the greater narrative, and V is one of the greatest newcomers in the series' history. While his playstyle may be the weakest in the game, there is still a ton of fun to be had, and V proves that support characters can work in big action games. I'm not done yet. The gameplay of Devil May Cry 5 on every level is a masterful execution of tight action spectacle, but it is not the only thing that makes this game amazing. The environments in Devil May Cry 5 are a blast to run through, and while they may be very linear at points, they offer just enough variety and branching paths to make them fun to explore around. The environments range from urban cityscapes to demonic trees to the outer reaches of the goddamn atmosphere. I'm not joking, that's actually a place you go to. And they are all simply gorgeous, which leads me to one of DMC5's strongest aspects, its visuals. We already talked about the RE engine when you guys were talking about Resi 2, but Capcom has truly outdone themselves with this game, as DMC5 pushes the boundaries of graphical fidelity. Running on that superb RE engine, DMC5 looks unreal at times. The level of detail in its environments, character models, and particle effects is a marvel to witness in motion. Every single aspect of the game's visuals is polished to an ungodly degree, leading to a game that looks simply breathtaking, all while running at a rock-solid 60 frames per second. This ludicrous level of visual fidelity is taken even further with its 4K support, and let me tell you, this game being the first game I've ever played in true native 4K resolution, running at 60 frames per second with HDR enabled, is unlike anything else I've ever experienced. Words can't truly describe how good Devil May Cry 5 truly looks. And for me, it might be the best looking game ever made. It's that beautiful. I'm still not done. It's one thing for Devil May Cry 5 to look as good as it does, but it's a completely different thing for it to sound as good as it does. Devil May Cry 5's audio design assaults your eardrums as each and every hit, sword rev, gunshot, and cocky taunt is captured with such clear, rich, and powerful sound. The weapons all have such a resounding impact because of this stellar audio design, and this rich sound carries over into its performances. Every single cast member does a fantastic job in their roles, leading to some career highlight performances from Johnny Young Bosch as Nero, Ruben Langdon as Dante, and Daniel Southworth as Virgil. However, the MVPs in the cast are Faye Kingsley as Nico and Brian Hanford as V. Faye does a phenomenal job portraying Nico, with her charismatic and goofy personality shining through wonderfully. And Brian does a particularly standout job as V, depicting the character's mysterious charm and calming demeanor, while also emphasizing his darker side when need be. Devil May Cry 5's music is just as fantastic as the rest of the audio in the game, having just the right mix of pulse-pumping beats, calm atmospheric melodies, and emotional ballads. It is some of the best game music produced in 2019, bar none. Almost done, just one more page, don't worry. Last but certainly not least is the story. Following Nero and Dante several years after the events of DMC4, Devil May Cry 5 sees the demon hunters taking on Urizen, a brand new demon baddie that has planted a demonic tree called the Qlipoth, which consumes human blood to grow a fruit capable of granting someone immense demonic power. Devil May Cry 5's narrative is something special to me. There was not a story this year that took me on a bigger roller coaster of emotions than this. It is written and directed to nigh perfection. Hideaki Itsuno, the series director, has proven on multiple occasions that he is more than capable of delivering a tightly directed story. But Devil May Cry 5 might be his best work to date. Devil May Cry has always been a series with heavy themes of family, what exactly family is, and the struggles and hardships that people go through to keep families together. With 5, Itsuno goes all in on the family metaphor, as for the first time, the entire surviving Sparta bloodline is brought together into one game. Dante is just trying to make an honest living at this point, but when he learns that his brother may be back, he feels a guttural instinct to go take him down once and for all. Virgil has been wandering aimlessly for years following the first game, searching desperately for a way to gain the power he desires so badly, until he decides to completely cast out the last remnants of his humanity for the power he has always been looking for. When these two meet again for the first time in years, there is a sort of melancholic feel, like these two would rather not fight if they could, but as Dante puts it, it's the only memory I have of us since we were kids. However, this dynamic is completely shattered with the introduction of Nero. Abandoned as a child, Nero never really knew what family was growing up. He always weaved in and out of different groups trying to find his place, adopting a loner attitude as a result. But here we finally get confirmation that Virgil is Nero's father, turning his entire world turn upside down. The punk kid who never knew what it meant to have a real family finally learns of his past and comes to realize that he finally has one that is on the verge of collapse. It is this that is the catalyst for Nero to finally awaken his true demonic powers, standing firmly between his father and uncle in an act of defiance, hell-bent on destroying the vicious cycle of self-destruction that has plagued the Spartans for years, finally bringing them together at long last. This message is at the core of Devil May Cry 5, that family and lineage are the most powerful thing one can have, and that even though it might be fractured or wounded, family can and will always be there for one another. All of the game's themes and messages combine into possibly the best story in the series' history, as it ties up every loose end, thematic point, and character arc into a perfect little bow, making for the best finale to the Sons of Sparta saga we could have possibly hoped for. I think I've said enough. For these reasons and more, Devil May Cry 5 is without a doubt my pick for Game of the Year 2019. All right, you guys can come back now. I'm done. Guys, come back.
Okay.
Did I scare them away? How that was 13 minutes straight.
Oh, I think I took a bit of a nap there.
That's fine. I don't blame you. Where'd Spencer go?
I think he's in the bathroom.
I'm gonna tag him. It's okay to come back.
Yeah, he's in the bathroom right now.
Come back. Oh, okay.
So first off, fuck you. Like actually, fuck you.
Dude, it just happened. Like, I thought it was going to be maybe a page and a half at most. I just wrote 4 pages. I just couldn't stop. If that little 13-minute tangent doesn't symbolize just how much this game means to me, nothing will. Like,
still, fuck you. I don't have a hard enough time as it is explaining how I feel about games, but when you just pull shit like that...
I'm a writer, dude. It's in my blood.
I'm a businessman.
For those reasons and more, DMC5 is easily my pick for Game of the Year. And honestly, it's one of the best games I've ever played. I've talked enough. I'm going to shut up now. You guys can take the floor. Shut me up.
Okay.
I guess while we're waiting for Spencer to get out of the John, we can go to Josh. Josh, what is your pick for Game of the Year?
Sure. Spencer already talked about it. I love it very much. It's my first foray into the game series. The story its characters and everything moved me in a way I haven't by games in a long time. I think the last time I actually was this dedicated to my characters was Tales of Berseria. And this game is Fire Emblem Three Houses.
I'm surprised because you sent me my list.
I did.
Before we recorded, and those last 2 were switched.
I originally said, yes, Resident Evil 2. However, the more that I thought about it, the more I just realized I love Fire Emblem Three Houses. Mm-hmm. I'm not overly passionate or overly crazy like certain people in this podcast or certain people in this Discord server, but...
All right, you can... Yeah.
But
that makes sense.
When I first played the game, I had no clue like what it was about or anything. And then I did the first story and was like, oh, damn. The characters and everything. If you cannot find a character that you like in this game, there is something wrong with you. This game has every single type of character archetype in there, and it's just the biggest thing I loved about this game was just the story alone. The gameplay is amazing itself. I love turn-based RPGs. But goddamn, the story just is something. It's something else. It moved me in a way that, like I said, I haven't been moved since Tales of Berseria. This game just did something that I was not expecting. It came out of the blue. I've never played a Fire Emblem game before, so I didn't know anything about what you could do. I was like, wait, you're telling me I can marry all the girls? And then I found out I could marry. And then I found out I could marry all the girls, and I was like, well, I guess I got all my playthroughs ready then.
I guess I'm a polygamist now.
I guess I'm just going to marry everyone. No, it's a great game, and words can't explain. I'm not good at explaining, but I love this game.
Very, very respectable choice. I know that Three Houses meant a lot to a lot of people this year. Spencer, are you back? Are you back yet?
I am back.
It was 13 minutes, by the way.
13 minutes? Yeah.
It was 13 minutes. Anyway. All right, it's your turn. You're the one who's closing us off. What's your pick for Game of the Year 2019?
Well, all I have to say is this. Okay? 1 second. To see a world in a grain of sand, and heaven a wildflower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, in eternity in an hour.
DMC 5, let's go, DMC boys! Capgods are back!
I'm not going to take 13 minutes of your time.
I mean, we have time if you want to.
I'm not going to take 13 minutes, but I will take probably like 4 or 5, because I want to talk about Devil May Cry. Because while this man can write his dissertation on DMC5, I could probably write an essay on the entire series. I love Devil May Cry. It was my series for quite some time. I've played and beaten every Devil May Cry game, including the one where they had to patch out Virgil's fedora.
I remember.
Which a lot of people don't remember. Yes. In the definitive edition for DMC Devil May Cry, the one that Team Ninja made, or Ninja Theory made, they patched out Virgil's fedora, except for one scene. And it's the scene, I believe is a scene in which Virgil shoots a pregnant woman and kills the demon baby.
Good pick, but no, it was the scene where they're on the bridge looking at Bob Barbas's news tower.
Oh, okay,
where they're
yes.
like, yeah, it's Fox News. It's a Fox News parody, guys.
Get it, guys? Do you get the social? There's no socio-political commentary except for DMC is back and it's fucking radical. So, I'm gonna do Spencer's rendition of a dissertation. Let me take a drink of my Rockstar first. Or should I say my Monster? Delicious.
Let's rock, baby.
Let's rock, baby. So, Devil May Cry is a series that dates back to the early 2000s, created by one Hideki Kamiya. It was originally a planned game from another series, RE4. It is a hack-and-slash adventure game for the ages. Now, I'm not going to talk about the intro. I'm just going to talk about how come DMC5 is the most radical game of 2019 and is going to be the most radical game of 2020, 2021, 22, 2023, 24, 25, maybe until 2030. Who knows?
I mean, hell, even last night, they were recording this last night. They had that awesome GDQ run of DMC5 that just cements everything that I love about this game.
I have to watch.
You need to watch.
So, I'll go through the characters kind of like Shane did, except not in as much depth. Basically, DMC5 means that DMC5, one of the best things about DMC5 is that when you're learning about the story of DMC, and it goes into like a couple pages on each game, the anime has a paragraph and a half, and then you're done with it. Because nobody wants to talk about the anime. But it also means that Patty's now canon. So, you know, there's that. But, game starts off, you're Nero, but you don't have a hand, and it's kind of weird, and you're like, what happened to his arm? Oh god, I'm in a weird fucking demon tree, and there's this guy sitting on a throne, and I'm supposed to fight him like this? I mean, sure, I can rev up my Red Queen, and I can do a bunch of max axe and all that, kind of, but I'm not supposed to win this fight. But you can. And that ends the game. There you go, you're done. That's why DMC5 is the best game. I'm joking, of course. But one of the first characters that you get to really meet is Nero. And one of the first things you see is that, hey guys, smoking's bad. Okay, Capcom does not condone smoking. Smoking isn't good, don't do it. But, you know what is cool, guys? Aside from not smoking? Beating up demons.
Beating up demons.
Not only do we get to hear Kyrie's voice once, but the best girl returns, and we all know who the best girl is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who the best girl in DMC is, Brunrit?
What? It's
Laylee.
It's Laylee.
It's Laylee. She's back.
I don't even know.
So
what
is
he's
Triss.
doing.
So is Dante. So is the best new character in video games of 2019, that William Blake, hot topic looking goth motherfucker, who attacks using DMC1 bosses. And he's awesome. And you just get to walk around with your book. You get to read poetry, and every once in a while you can stop, close your book, pick up your cane, and start conducting Flight of the Valkyries. And Nero, you get to do a little air guitar, and then you get to make love to the camera. Make love to the camera, baby. Come on. Look good, look good. Let's go, let's go. Woo! Yep, Woohoo Pizza Man shows up, and which is Dante. Those of you who don't, we refer to him as Woohoo Pizza.
Woohoo Pizza Man, and he goes on adventures.
He goes on adventures, and he does a whole Michael Jackson dance because some hot girl gives him a hat. And which is kind of like what he does with in DMC4 with the roses, in DMC3 what he does with the electric guitar, in DMC2 what he does with nothing because DMC2 sucks, and DMC1 or Devil May Cry, first one, where he does it with not Rebellion but the
Alistair.
Thank you, Alistair. Yes. This game's awesome. Not only is this the most stylish game in the series, but it's the most pretty looking game. Now, I don't have 4K HDR, 60 FPS, 1200 frames per gigawatt, super 1200 megaterabytes of RAM. So I just play it on my PS4, my normal basic PS4. The game still looks great. Game still runs like a dream. The challenges are really fun. The Devil Arms are one of the coolest additions to the game because you have these different types of things that you can use them, but if you get hit while you use them, then they break. And there's a certain number of them. You get to what is, fairly obvious from the start. The guy's name is V. He has all this stuff. There's one voice clip where he wants more power. You're like, okay, this guy's Virgil, but how is he Virgil? Big. And the answer is he's Virgil without the thirst for power that overwhelms him. He's Virgil if he had continued down the path that Dante took instead of the opposite path. And it's really interesting to see them kind of interact with each other in like the the truck. Where it's like, oh, so this is Virgil if he was like more like Dante, if he was less crazed, power hungry. And his character's awesome through the entire game. And while he technically doesn't exist anymore, he still does inside of the Alpha and Omega. Virgil himself.
I also didn't realize when I was capturing this footage that I have his classic outfit on instead of the black one. So he's classic blue Virgil.
Classic blue-ass Virgil. The secret taunts are actually, worth it because they're ridiculously fun to watch. Because you have V, who does a Singing in the Rain-esque tap dancing routine. You have Nero, who does a kind of an alt-rock punk. And then you have Dante, who is Dante. Game's great, okay? And if you have not played Devil May Cry 5, don't worry, you really don't need to play any of the other games. But I recommend you do, except for DMC2, that game fucking sucks.
Yeah, don't play that one. No, don't do it.
But I'm going to... The second last thing I'm going to talk about is style switching. Because Shane went over all of that in detail, but I'm going to go over it in significantly less detail, but more easier to understand. So you have Swordmaster, which means you get to hit shit cooler. You have Gunslinger, which means you get to shoot shit cooler. You have Royal Guard, which means that you get to parry cooler. And you have... I always forget the last one. What's the fourth style?
Royal Guard.
Royal Guard is you get to parry shit cooler.
Oh, did you talk about Gunslinger?
Yes.
Trickster.
And Swordmaster. Trickster. And Trickster is you get to move cooler. And the ability to just go, okay, guns now, hold it, Swordmaster, pull out Cerberus, which is significantly cooler because it's 3 weapons in one. And then, oh, I see an attack, Royal Guard, boom, done. And that definitely cry. Stylish. Don't use the same attack over and over again because that's boring. And this game really makes you feel like a nigh invulnerable, half demon, half human person.
Yeah, take some risks. Try the perfect royal counter, Virgil's judgment cut, because it will make you feel like a goddamn superhero.
If you can, God, what's it called? It's the thing that you can do in with distorted real impact. That's it.
Yeah.
You can still distort real impact, which means you can kill bosses in like 3 seconds. It's amazing. Game's fucking good, and that's fucking thank you, video games, because we had a good year this. Bang.
Well, with that said, Josh, you still with us?
Huh?
Hi. You can come back now.
I'm alive.
Okay, get back over here because we gotta wrap the shit up.
Yeah.
Nico.
So,
Okay, I'm back.
So, that was our top 10 games of 2019. Some good variety in the list, a lot of different styles of games and genres. Good year in games. Let me just say, 2019 had some of the best games to offer in the last couple of years, I want to say. Very quality year. But, with that said, we can wrap things up here. So, thank you very much for watching this very special episode of Bearded Banter, where we talk about our top 10 games of 2019. If you liked the ungodly amount of DMC5 talk and you want to see more, subscribe to BGN right here on YouTube. We do a lot of great gaming shit here. We do podcasts, live streams, unboxings, let's plays, funny edited videos. We do a lot of great stuff here. So go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more of that. And Spencer, what else do we do?
We click that bell.
Click the motherfucking
bell.
If you want to get notifications on when we upload so you are the first to see the new videos as they go live. Go ahead and also follow us on Twitter at BeardedGamingN, where you can see all of my stupid opinions on games, movies, anime, etc., as well as when I post the new videos and live streams and let you know when I'm going to go live on Twitch. Speaking of which, that's a thing I need to say now, is also go follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/BeardedGameNetwork, because we are going to be starting up our official streaming schedule next week. We're going to be streaming every single week. I had to slightly alter it because I'm starting a new job on Monday, so I can't do Mondays anymore, so I quickly altered it. We're going to be streaming every Tuesday and Thursday, 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over there on Twitch, so go follow us there. I also want to thank my co-hosts Spencer and Josh for being here. Go follow Spencer on Twitter at Beery Burton with 2 E's.
2 E's.
Thank you. If you want to see him post his dumb opinions on stuff, and also retweet cosplayer photos if you're into that thing.
I mean, why wouldn't you be?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
If there's a pretty lady, you want to see the pretty lady.
Yeah. And also,
speaking of pretty lady, shout out to Lady from DMC3.
Yes.
You did a good job.
You did a good job. And also go follow my son Josh on Twitter at Reborn Weeb. Where what do you even do on Twitter, Josh? Do you do anything?
Usually just post shit, you know. I posted a link to RuneScape if you ever wanna
Okay.
hate your life.
Wait, but Shane,
Yeah?
what happens at the Demon Orange Tree?
Well, it killed my father, first off.
Okay.
And second, its name is Jim John. It's demonic orange tree that killed my father. I'm going to be taking revenge on it by fucking it to death.
No, it's that's my, by the way, that's my favorite part of that tweet is the phrase fucking 1 second. It's
Jim John.
I feel sad and the sweet apple falling from the fuck tree is dead.
The fuck tree is dead. Oh. Yeah, that's great.
Click that bell.
Click that fucking bell. And with that said, we can wrap things up here. So thanks for watching this special edition of Beer Banter. We're going to be back on our normal schedule now, every 2 weeks with a new podcast. So we will see you in 2 weeks for our back to regular format. So keep on gaming, everyone, and we'll see you then.
Ooh.